It is no longer news that everyone has a weakness that easily beset them. What is news is that we now hide under that excuse to do nothing about our weaknesses. What is even more appalling is the fact that motivational speakers, in trying to inspire us into success, they tell us that we should not focus on our weaknesses. We should focus on our strengths. Unfortunately, we misconstrue that to mean that we watch idly while these weaknesses wreck our genuine efforts. While it is fantastic to not let your weakness hinder you from maximizing your strengths, it is not the same thing as doing nothing practical about those weaknesses. For me, this is so important. I've been counseling for over 2 decades, and I've sat on this end of the counseling table and seen people on the other end of the counseling table weep, shed tears in pain, because like they will say, their weaknesses frustrated their genuine efforts and they could not live life to the full. I've also seen hundreds of people who manage to maneuver through their weaknesses and achieve great feats. I've seen the same people, as if the weakness was waiting for them to hit the success button and then succeed, and then all of a sudden, from nowhere, this weakness, this defection in character just springs up, exposes weak points and gray areas, messes up with everything they've achieved, and everything goes down the drain. Ladies and gentlemen, I've also seen several people who were better in maneuvering through their weaknesses. They lived a full life, left incredible legacies, and yet, just a few months after their demise, a few years after their demise, information spills out. Things they did during unguarded moments, those hours of indiscretion, comes out of nowhere. The beans are spilled, and then all their legacies built for decades, everything just goes down the drain. What I think is that many of us are yet to understand the power, the concept, and the psychology of a weakness. That's the truth. That's the reason why many of us blindly, we blind our eyes, get married to people in spite of their weaknesses, and then somewhere in our minds we think, stinking thinking I call it, we hope that we can change people. Incredible, unbelievable. Unfortunately for most of us, we meet our Waterloo. It is also the reason why many of us are practically impatient with people, as those people battle and navigate their weaknesses and their struggles. This is so profound and so important. Let me tell you this, it might help you. Number one, a weakness is not a mistake that you make. That's not what it is. I can assure you that. A weakness is not something you do out of indiscretion. It's not something you do during unguarded moments. It's not something you do as a result of misinformation. None of that is a weakness. Not even an act of omission. Listen, a weakness is a conditioning of the human mind. Trust me. It is such an incredible conditioning of the human mind that it literally controls human behavior, often beyond the control of the individual involved. There is a sense in which a weakness is a subconsciously controlled behavior defect. A subconsciously controlled behavior effect to which the individual is helplessly subjected. I wish people can get this. I've even found out that more often than most people think, a weakness sometimes is genetic, sometimes it pre-exists the individual. This is so important. It's so important because when we understand a weakness, we will become more intentional as we make life partner choices. When we understand a weakness, we realize that most of the behavior changes we demand from our spouses, from our children, from our partners, from our colleagues, our associates, most of these demands we make are actually beyond the control of the people from whom we make these demands. Listen to this, because listen, as soon as you understand or we understand weaknesses, what it does is that we become more patient, we become more empathetic, we become more accepting of loved ones as they struggle, as they battle, and as they navigate through life. Because the truth is that you cannot shout out a weakness, you cannot scold out a weakness, you cannot scream out a weakness, you can't correct or nag out a weakness from somebody who knows better than you do, that is overpowered, is helpless, doesn't even know what to do with what he's dealing with. And yet I can tell you for free that weaknesses and addictions, which basically are products of mental exposures, basically are products of mental conditioning and programming, can be resolved through simple reprogramming of the human mind. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the reason why I created 3 tools that can transform any life. The first one is a book. I titled it Partner Weakness Management. Partner Weakness Management. It helps you to know how to handle most of the reasons why people join us, people become part of our lives as angels, and before long they are demons, is because of the way we handle them. We do not understand how to handle our partner's weaknesses. And so this book will help you know what it is you must do, so that when next your partner is faced with that situation, that threat, that conditioning that makes them act the way they do, instead of running away from you to run into addictions and lifestyles as a coping technique, they will run to you as their coping technique and seek to be helped. They will need reinforcements that will help them dominate over those lifestyles. The second book I wrote is actually a workbook. I titled it Prison Break. Prison Break in turn helps you as a person to deal with and overcome addictions, whether those are same-sex proclivities and same-sex attractions, whether they are masturbation, pornography, smoking, whatever you're dealing with by way of an addiction. Prison Break is the tool you need to mess with them, and you're going to be an overcomer. But thirdly, I also created the Behavior Mastery Challenge online course. Because of the dynamics of dealing with behavior, oftentimes you need a help, you need a hand to hold you, coach you, mentor you, and take you through processes and structures that helps you to break free from addictions. It doesn't take rocket science to deal with addictions. I've put these 3 products together, and I guarantee you it'll change a life. You'll be wondering, why did I not see this all this while? If you don't have these books, you better go for them, and I dare you to press the register button, press the link, and register for the Behavior Mastery Challenge. It'll be the best decision you've made in a long time. I'll see you again.